Hey, this is Dave from Tech Draw. I'm here at Waterhaven, and we're going to take on part one of our interview today, a new series, Drinks on Fifth. Today's guest is Urvaksh Karkaria, the technology writer for the Atlanta Business Chronicle. Urvaksh, everybody kind of knows what you produce on a weekly basis. Talk some about kind of just more you. So what's your favorite drink? What's your Pandora locked onto?
So my favorite drink is right here, vodka and Sprite, and that's the only drink I have. Occasionally I may have a beer or two, but stick to the hard liquor for the most part, like a true journalist. And Pandora is my CD. It's my CD player. I don't listen to CDs anymore, whatever comes on. It's a mishmash. I like some jazz, the old school kind, Thelonious Monk and of course Charlie Parker and stuff. But it's a bit of a mix. There's some dance and techno. Yeah, not that I look like the kind of guy who would listen to that, but also like a lot of 80s music. So whatever comes on,
Cool.
I'm not too picky.
So are you tend to let it flow, or are you a next kind of, or are you at the point where all those nexts have gotten the kind of mix you want?
Yeah, I think all the nexts have gotten me to the point where I'm happy, though occasionally there will be a song, and then after 6 skips, I can't skip any further, and I wish Pandora would eliminate that, but I guess I could pay for it. But,
Yeah, kind of like when I have my channel on the wrong, on NBC at 11:30 and Jay Leno comes on, I gotta go, quick,
yeah,
skip
absolutely.
next. So what, I know from also your media, you're a huge Big Bang Theory guy.
Oh, yes.
That's like instant tweet guaranteed.
Yeah, that is such a smart show. I find it odd that it's by the same creators of 2.5 Men, but which is on the other spectrum. That's the lowest common denominator. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like Big Bang Theory because of all the sort of the geeky references. It's a very smart show, very clever jokes. Sheldon's character is Jim Parsons. Actually, I saw him on Letterman recently, and he is apparently in real life, he's exactly like his character. So I don't even know if he has to act. He's got the same twitches, he's got everything. Unless that's a shtick and he's putting it on for Letterman as well. But enjoy that show, and it's always on my DVR. So.
Cool. And so tell us about you, I mean, as Urvaksh, and how you kind of got to Atlanta and how you ended up.
Yeah, sure. So if my name was Bob, I'd probably have a less interesting story, but essentially I'm from India. I'm a 4th generation journalist. My great-grandmother and my great-grandparents actually launched a newspaper back in India, in Calcutta. I worked in advertising in India for a while for the Indian subsidiary of J. Walter Thompson. I was a copywriter. And then I came to the States in '97, went to Indiana University, so I'm a Hoosier. I was there the year Bobby Knight was fired, so that was interesting. And then worked in Fort Wayne, Indiana for 6 years, right during the last recession, and working in a Rust Belt city. It was great. Right. Lots of big stories, covered General Motors, General Electric. And from a career perspective, it was very interesting because it's one of the few cities that have 2 newspapers, a morning paper and an afternoon paper. And we were in the same building. It's a JOA, a joint operating agreement, but we competed cats and dogs. So I was with the morning paper, and the afternoon paper came out at 11 o'clock. The press room was just down the hallway. So at 11 o'clock, I'd race to the press room and like fight with the printers who were like pulling out the first copies to make sure they hadn't messed up the color. And I would say, just let me take a look at it to see if there were any scoops. And of course, my day was determined by that. If the afternoon paper had a scoop,
digging in for the blue line at the printer.
Yeah, I was a bear for the rest of the day. And if they didn't have anything, it was great. And it was very competitive. We were on our toes. Really enjoyed it. Learned a lot. That was my first newspaper experience in the United States. I worked for the Times of India in India, but that's a totally different world, right? So I learned a lot there. And then eventually, had enough of Fort Wayne and was in Jacksonville for about 3 years. Worked for the daily paper there, and finally wound my way up to Atlanta.
Cool.
Yeah,
So,
that's here I am. And actually, technology. I was never a technology writer. I was mostly, I was always a business writer, and I came here to do healthcare. And then our technology reporter, Justin Rubner, who many of your viewers probably know, left. And the editors called me in and said, do you want to do technology? I'm like, sure, I like gadgets, I like computers. And it saved my career. Because if I was still just doing, and I still do healthcare, but if I was still just doing healthcare, I'd probably be burned out by now. And even the technology beat, as readers of the Chronicle know, it's not as much about the technology as about the deals, about the business side, it's about the industry. I mean, that's who reads the ABC. So even though I'm a technology writer, I'm not really Engadget. Sure. I'm not really writing about the technology per se. I'm writing about startups, the market they're in, the business model, their growth strategy, and of course talking about the technology and what's unique. But I would say that's about 25% of the story. So.
Yeah, we've kind of done the same thing with TechDraw. We've kind of cut it down, and in our kind of estimation, it's about people, technology, and deals. So,
okay, yeah, so ours I guess would be the other way around. Deals, technology, and people too, interesting people. I do a few profiles, but I don't encourage that. Especially from the PR folks, but of course, if you have a deal, please, I guess, call me.
Exactly. So, give us a sense of what the week in the life is like. How is the ABC sausage made behind the scenes?
Okay, so Thursday, which is when the show is being shot, is kind of the. That's Jen Burnett there.
Oh, hey, Jen.
Is the sort of the we've just come off deadline. So deadline is Wednesday. Monday morning is an important date, especially for people who want to pitch me, because Monday morning we have a budget meeting where we present the stories, or at least as what we know are going to be the stories for the week. So Monday starts sort of the work week. Monday is busy, Tuesday gets even busier, and then Wednesday gets really busy, say until about 1 o'clock, which is when we file the copy. And then we wait for it, to get through the production and finally, so the paper gets printed Wednesday night. It's in the mail today, and it gets to people starting Friday.
Cool. So the NCR thing was a pretty big story for you. I know going back probably 12, 14 months.
Yeah. I didn't know you were following me back then. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We're always keeping an eye out.
Right.
So in a case like that of a big kind of national story that has southeastern impacts, is it just a matter of picking folks and following them and chasing the story? I mean, how long does something like that take to come to fruition?
That was a really big deal, and it happened really fast. And we caught it at the tail end, and we were fortunate to catch it when we did. Ideally, we like to have the big scoops and the big stories in the print edition because that's the bread and butter. But if there's breaking news, we'll get it online, and that's what happened with NCR. We got a heads up from our reporters in Ohio. So the Atlanta Business Chronicle is part of the American City Business Journal. We have 41 papers around the country. And so the Dayton, Ohio paper, which is where NCR was based, got wind that there was some issue going on between the city officials and NCR. So they called me as the tech writer and saying, we've heard that there's some chatter going on and there's some concern that the city may leave, or maybe doing a big expansion in Atlanta. And then I got on the phone, this was on Friday evening, and I spent that whole weekend on the phone. In fact, my wife got really pissed off because I just kept calling people. And I hammered at the sources all weekend long. And then finally on Monday evening, someone who will always remain anonymous, good source of mine, tipped me off onto it. And essentially we got all the details Monday. We were trying to hold it till Tuesday morning so the AJC doesn't have it in their print edition. But it was just too risky because stuff was breaking in Ohio, because obviously I shared all the data with the Ohio reporter. So we just decided to put it on Monday night on the website. And then we came back on Friday for the Friday paper with more of the analysis. What does it mean to the technology community? What sort of incentives did they get?
Thanks for tuning in for part 1. Stay tuned for part 2 coming up soon here at techdraw.com.